Yeah, I'm happy. Well, Ya Rasulullah, this is a narration in Ibn Majah. Jibreel said, Ya Rasulullah, all the angels are happy today as well. Umar has become Muslim. Once the Prophet was sitting with Umar, when there was Umar radiallahu anhu, the Prophet said, hadith in Bukhari, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ Umar, I swear by Allah who holds my life in his hands. مَا لَقِيَكَ الشَّيْطَانُ سَالِكًا فَجًّا قَطْ إِلَّا وَسَالَكَ فَجًّا غَيْرَ فَجِّ Umar, you know when you go in, Shaitan leaves. If he's coming, he goes the other way. Shaitan is even scared to come face to face with Umar radiallahu anhu. Once the Prophet was sitting with his Umar, and he said to his Umar, you know what? How will you be when you are put in your qabr and Munkar and Nakir appears? And they ask you questions, Ma Rabbuka, Ma Dinuka, Man Nabiyuka. And Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, will I be in my senses? He said, yeah, you'll be in your senses, alright. Ya Rasulullah, no worries, I'll deal with them. I'll deal with them. And the Prophet then smiled. And Hazrat Umar said, Ya Rasulullah, what makes you smile? And the Prophet said, Umar, Jibreel just came and told me, when Umar will be put in the grave and the angels come, they ask him, Ma Rabbuka, who's your Lord? Then Umar will say, my Lord is Allah. My Lord is Allah, who is your Lord? And then he will say, but my deen is Islam, what's your deen? My Nabi is Rasulullah, who's your Nabi? The angels will say, let's get out of here, man. Before he says something else. Allahu Akbar. Umar, what do you know about who is Umar? Radiallahu ta'ala anhu. The Prophet said, Allahu ja'ala al-haqqa ala lisani Umar wa qalbih. Allah has put haqq on the tongue of Umar and his heart. Umar speaks haqq. Umar speaks the language of Allah. Many a times Umar said, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, something, and Allahu Akbar. And the Prophet was saying something, Umar radiallahu anhu said something, and Jibreel came down and he said, Allah is saying the same thing as Umar. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي مَا قَبْلَكُم مِّنَ الْأُمَمِ مُحَدَّثُونَ فَإِن يَكُنْ أَحَدٌ فِي أُمَّتِي فَإِنَّهُ عُمَرٌ. The Prophet said, in the nations before you, there were people Allah used to talk to. بِغَيْرِ أَن يَكُونُوا أَنْبِيَاء. They were not prophets, but Allah used to talk to them. Allah used to put good things in their hearts. And if there is any such man in this ummah, then it is Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He enjoyed once Rasulullah sallallahu, just to give you one example. Because Rasulullah was rahmatun lil alameen. لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ عَزِيزٌ عَلَيْهِ مَا عَنِتُّمْ حَرِيصٌ عَلَيْكُمْ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. Rasulullah was so merciful, rahmatun lil alameen. And there was a munafiq, his name was Abdullah bin Ubay. And he is the one who was at the forefront of slandering Aisha radiallahu anha. And he always used to insult Muslims. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he died, his son, his name was Abdullah as well. Abdullah bin Ubay. So Abdullah bin Ubay, the senior, the father, he was a munafiq, Ra'isul Munafiqeen. And when he died, his son Abdullah, he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Rasulullah, please, I know my father was bad. He's dying. If you're kind enough to give your jubba, your kurta, your qameez for his coffin. And Ya Rasulullah, please, if you were to pray his janazah, perhaps Allah will forgive him. Rasulullah gave his kurta, his qameez for his coffin. Rasulullah put his noble saliva upon him and he became ready to pray janazah. And when the janazah was, as Umar radiallahu anhu, Ya Rasulullah, you're going to pray the janazah of this munafiq? Ya Rasulullah, no, please, Ya Rasulullah, don't. Rasulullah said, no, let me pray his janazah. And then he became ready to pray his janazah. Allah said in our verses, Istaghfir lahum, aw la tastaghfir lahum. In tastaghfir lahum 70 marratan, falan yaghfir Allahu lahum. Even if you pray 70 times, I won't forgive him. Then Allah said, وَلَا تُصَلِّ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ مَاتَ أَبَدًا وَلَا تَقُمْ عَلَىٰ قَبْرِهِ. Don't pray the janazah. Don't stand on their graves again. Rasulullah was merciful. Out of his mercy, he wanted to do that. But Allah was on the side of Umar radiallahu anhu, telling his Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam not to pray the janazah of the munafiq. So when Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he says something, you know what Umar is saying is haqq. Umar is right because Allah is on the side of Umar radiallahu anhu. This month of Ramadan is the month of Quran. in Ramadan you will also fast. You will also fast. You will fast the next day. But you will gather around the Quran first. Maghrib Salat will be 9 o'clock. And as soon as it's declared Ramadan tomorrow you will fast. You will have suhoor 4 hours later. But what will you do before that? You will do Taraweeh. And in Taraweeh, what will you do? You will listen to the Quran. And Taraweeh is such a wonderful ibadah. Yes, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not pray Taraweeh like the way we pray Taraweeh. Throughout the month, every month, every year, Umar radiallahu ta'ala established Taraweeh 20 rakat with Ubay ibn Ka'b radiallahu ta'ala. In his time, they used to pray 20 rakat Taraweeh. Throughout Usman radiallahu anhu's time, 20 rakat Taraweeh. Throughout Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala's khilafah, 20 rakat Taraweeh. And since that year, since the time of Hazrat Umar, every year in Haram al-Makki and Medina, in the Masjid to this day, they pray, you know how many rakats? 20. Never has there been a single year after Hazrat Umar's time when even 1 year people prayed 8 rakat collectively in Makkah or Medina. Because Umar radiallahu anhu initiated this, so you know Haqq is with who? With Umar. Because when Umar decides something, then Shaitan is the one who opposes it. وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ Rasulullah said with Qasam, Bukhari riwayah, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ مَا لَقِيَكَ الشَّيْطَانُ سَالِكًا فَجًّا قَطْ إِلَّا وَسَالَكَ فَجًّا غَيْرَ فَجِّكَ. He who is against Umar, number 1, Shaitan. People say, well, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray 8 rakat. Rasulullah used to pray 8 rakat tahajjud. There are 2 different prayers, tahajjud and taraweeh. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray tahajjud throughout his life. Throughout his life. وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَحَجَّدْ بِهِ يَا أَيُّهَا الْمُزَّمِّلُ قُمِ اللَّيْلِ. First surah to be revealed, Iqra. Second surah to be revealed, Surah Noon. What the Quran hai, 13 line wala? 13 line wala Quran agar lo koi. वो जो साउथ अफ्रीकन प्रिंट है, हाँ ये वाला ठीक है, हो गया. You see this Quran, brothers, all the Qurans are the same. Unlike the Bible, you know, they have different versions. We have same Quran. There are different prints. Because we Pakistanis, Asians, you know, it's difficult for us. So the Fatha Kasra Dhamma is more clear on this print. And in this print, this is referred to by the brothers as the South African print. They have done very good research in this. They have added something very useful. And that's something useful I want to share with you as well. And where there is a surah starts, wherever there is a surah beginning, in the same line, they have put down 2 numbers. For example, Surah Iqra, Surah Alaq, where the surah starts, there are 2 numbers. 1 number on the front, one on the right, one on the left. I don't think most people can see. Surah Alaq, on the right you have number 96, and on the left you have number 1. Number 96 is order of appearance in the Quran. The order of appearance. There are 114 surahs in the Quran. 30 juz. When you go to Surah Fatiha, you get number 1 and number 5. Number 1 because it's the first surah appears in the Quran. Number 5, order of revelation. Surah Baqarah, you get number 2 and number 87 on the left, because 87 surah in order of revelation, most of the surah. Surah Iqra, you get 96 and number 1, first the surah, order of revelation, order of appearance in the Quran, number 9.